Lifecycle Manager validates report content between two environments, or during the upgrade process between Cognos 8 and Cognos 10, or ReportNet and Cognos 10. It compares a large number of reports quickly in any supported output type and in any supported language. It also can establish baselines for you, baselines against a single environment. So there may be instances where you're going to apply a fix pack or a refresh pack. Well, you can take a baseline using Lifecycle Manager before and after the fix pack or refresh pack to further validate and speed up the process of implementing these important changes to your environment. Let's take a look at the Lifecycle Manager project. We're going to create a quick upgrade project and validate about 25 reports. I want to show you just how simple it is to configure a project. Lifecycle Manager needs a gateway and a dispatcher URI. It needs to know the version it's going to be contacting and some other information that we'll walk through here. As you can see in the versions, any supported version is allowed in Lifecycle Manager. Once you've entered that information, we then need to understand who it is that's going to run reports in the source or 841 and target 10 applications. The security providers do not need to be the same. There's some advanced settings, and then of course your preferences. This is where you choose the output types and languages you want Lifecycle Manager to run in. Once you save this, we then generate the report list. This is where we display the content from Cognos Connection and let you choose which packages and folders you're going to bring into this upgrade project and begin validating. Once this process is done, you'll be in the Lifecycle Manager user space. Everything you do is from within this view. You have the tasks in the order we suggest you perform them on the left-hand side. You have all the packages and folders that have been brought into the project. You have a status, so you understand what the rolled up status is for each package and folder, and some other options that we're going to be going through during the course of this demo. We also offer some project management features, one of which is the ability to mark things out of scope. So in this particular instance, there are things we're not going to be testing, or things we may test later. So in order to keep our UI clean and organized, we can mark these out of scope, which will remove them from the view. Now, first we're going to take a look at 25 reports within the Future Chips International folder. As you can see, we have a combination of new and prompt values missing statuses. Before we can begin validating, we have to provide Lifecycle Manager with prompt values for each of these reports. Lifecycle Manager has an option that will allow it to go off and automatically generate prompt values for you. So we choose that option first. Those prompt values are used for the life of the project. They can be cleared and manually entered if you want to choose another value. So step 1 in the process, we validate the reports in the source. This step may or may not be required. Once the validation in the source is completed, you can see the progress has now been updated, and we have one report that is invalid. So Lifecycle Manager displays the error message and links you to the tech notes right from the Lifecycle Manager UI. And we pre-populate the search with the with the error message that we retrieved. Now we're marking this report out of scope because I generated that invalid report specification just for the purpose of the demo. Now the next task that should be completed is the run. Lifecycle Manager submits the request to run reports in an output type and a language and brings the output back to the Lifecycle Manager machine. That's where we do the comparison. So both the run in source and run in target tasks need to be completed. As you can see in Cognos 841, all of our reports have run successfully. Now this step, the validate and target, this is more than likely the first time any reports have been validated in the Cognos 10 environment. And as you can see, our progress indicates that it's all green or all ready to go. Next step, required step, is the run in Cognos 10. Now we are executing the reports, again, more than likely for the first time in Cognos 10. Once this step is completed, we then have the 841 content and the 10 content on the Lifecycle Manager machine, and we can go to our output comparison task. This is where we're now comparing the 841 to the 10 report to make sure that they're identical. And as you can see, we're shown here that there are 3 reports that are showing differences. You could click on the status or the progress to sort these and bring all the differences to the top or the bottom, however you choose to view. Now we're going to focus in on one of these reports, the recruitment report. We go to the properties. Here's where we can see all the parameters used. You could clear and re-enter them manually if you weren't happy with that prompt parameter. And this is the status of all the reports, any language and any output type. And of course where you can launch the comparison tools. We're going to take a look at the Flash comparison tool today. As you can see, we display both the 841 and the 10 reports side by side. A little difficult to identify where the difference may be, so we offer an overlay feature. Put one PDF on top of the other, and then begin to set focus to the 10 or 841 report. And you can see here, I've simply adjusted the values by 10 so that we can fabricate a difference. Actually by 5, sorry. Now that we've identified a difference, we need to investigate this further. So again, along the upgrade project management side, we've allowed you to create notes attached to the report object. The notes could be for colleagues who need to investigate the report difference. Could be PMRs, APARs, anything that you want to document with the report. You can see we've also changed the status from a difference to rejected. The statuses of differences, no differences, rejected or approved are all different statuses so that we can report on them in the task summary. Then of course a very nice feature of Lifecycle Manager, you can see at the bottom, is that we expose the run times in both the 841 and the 10 environment. And we also tag the notes with the report object. This view is exportable so that it can be distributed to anybody interested in an overall status of the upgrade. Now, what I did was walked you through all of the tasks in the upgrade project. However, you can see the executive reports folder at the top. It has a status of new. That means that all of the reports underneath this folder are ready for validation and execution. We'll take a quick look in this folder. And a status of new lets us proceed a little faster. So what we can do in this particular instance is we can go right to the output comparison task, highlight the folder, click on the folder, hit compare reports, and what we've done now is submitted 7 reports to Cognos 841, 7 reports to Cognos 10, brought them back, compared them, and displayed the results to you. You can see the progress The validation task for source and target is not there. It hasn't been completed. It's not required. Now we're going to take a look at one of the other reports that have a difference to show you another important feature, and that's the Create Test Case Archive. What this feature does is allow Lifecycle Manager to submit a report to Cognos 8, submit a report to Cognos 10, but with full debug mode enabled. So if you have a case where the report is not validating or not executing and you need to do a little investigation as to why, you can use this feature. This feature gathers all of the information from both the source and target environment and gathers it all into one zip file and presents it to the user. This means that using Lifecycle Manager, you'll no longer be required to contact an administrator to get logs or set debug modes or adjust XML or system XML files to enable debug mode. A very powerful feature, and the Lifecycle Manager user guide describes it in detail and should be reviewed before using it.